Why do people quit? As in like working out, diet, just like
reading a really good book. Everybody get this book. I've been making authors money like Oprah.
It's book club.
hey.
It's called Power of Habit. And he goes into, it's a really fascinating book because he tells many stories, but then he goes into the dynamics of neuroplasticity, talks about the way we think, and why we do what we do, why some things become a habit and some things don't, destructive habits versus helpful habits, and it will allude to an answer that you're looking for. Why do people quit? People quit because they are not yet personally identified. This is me saying this now. It's not a quote. It definitely is a quote. They're not yet personally identified with who they have to be to get this thing. You see? So if I'm fat, I've probably been fat. Let's say I'm 100 pounds overweight. I've probably been fat since I was a kid. Usually that's the way it happens. You know, you're a fat 10-year-old teenager. I'm in my 20s and I'm still really fat. I've become personally identified with that because I've been called fat a lot. I look at myself and I say I'm fat. The world tells me I'm fat, so intrinsically and extrinsically, I have all the evidence to support that I am a fat person. It's who I am. This is interesting, it's very important, because we think that's who we are. Not necessarily what's on you, what result you've gotten based on the actions you've taken, who you are. We become personally identified with certain things, you know. Being poor or being wealthy, personally identified with it. If I get anything that's outside the parameters associated with being poor, I'm uncomfortable because I'm poor. Are you trying to make money over there? But I'm poor. So I'm not yet personally identified. I don't believe that it's me over there. I'm just acting in a particular way. If I'm fat, I'm a fat person trying to do lean person things, but really, I'm just fat. It happens this way with regard to everything. Colleen and I were talking about a friend of ours before who has men problems. She can't fucking figure it out. How to keep a man. What's your problem? Every time it's always like, you can see it coming, like, she's fucking this one up again. That's because she's personally identified with someone who has men problems. Until she believes she's someone else, this is not going to happen. You literally have to become, I talk about this all the time, because we get so caught up in what we're getting. I'm getting fat, I'm getting lean, I'm getting a man, I don't have a man. We're all very attached to what's happening out here, and now who we're becoming. Who are you, and who are you becoming? That's why I'm far more interested in you becoming the strongest version of yourself than what you might get. Because what we all get is going to be completely different. And it's all based on what you want. What you get is not the point. Who you're becoming is the point. And what you do is not the point either. Because, like I always say, every action is measured by what? The sentiment from which it proceeds. It's coming from you. You're a fat person trying to do skinny shit. All that really matters is where it's coming from. It's coming from a fat person. Get back into that fat suit. You see? So we literally have to shed versions of ourselves. We literally have to take off the costume in our minds first, and then convince those around us, basically just ignore those around us, and put on a new costume. See this beard? What did I tell you when I started putting this beard on?
You're becoming a new person.
I want to try on a different character. When you put on a Superman, just like I got a son right now. He carries that sword. When he has that sword in his hand, he really thinks he's a damn ninja. He goes and he's like running around smacking his sisters and shit. I'm like, bro, you're not a ninja. But in his mind, he is, because he's got something that's associated with it.
Awesome.
Anyway, I'm sorry to rant. The point is that we've got to learn how to detach from what the world thinks we are and who we've identified with in order to be able to rebuild another version of ourselves. Otherwise, we'll quit. And we'll quit for a number of reasons, because of our internal conversation about it, although it's very subconscious. It's very insidious. It's very, you're not saying it to yourself out loud. And more importantly, those around you will start to behave differently towards you. You start going to the gym because you want to build some muscle, and your buddy that you play video games with, or your brother that you play video games with, or the guys that you do other things with, or your parents even, are going to be like, what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you doing? It's video game time. Or, don't you want the empanadas? They give you the empanadas. Okay, they make you empanadas every single night for the rest of your whole life. Now you want broccoli? What's wrong with you? Is my food no good? You see, so the whole world around you is trying to convince you that, where are you going? They all become uncomfortable because now they have to change how they are towards you. And that's one of the things that makes it more difficult than anything. So, I'm starting to talk in circles and rant here, but the point is that we literally have to step outside of who we are. When I popped my bicep, I was no longer the same Elliott Hulse. I said it before, I shot that character. That character was done. I built that character, Elliott Hulse Strongman. He looked a particular way, he talked a particular way, he did a particular thing. The minute I popped my bicep, I literally cried because I was like, the death of Elliott Hulse Strongman. I knew it. I mean, right? I mean, that was my mourning. My mourning was for the death of that character. Because I realized at that point, and I've always had this ability to be objective, that, okay, that character is not resourceful for where I want to go in the next phase of my life. It got me to where I wanted to be then. Did all it had to do. I could become so attached to that character because of how cool he was. He was pretty fucking cool. He had lots of big, giant friends, and we would all like do cool lifting things together, and I could go pick up massive amounts of weight at the drop of a hat. I mean, there were some pretty damn cool things that he could do. I could be so attached to the coolness of that character that I miss the glory associated with another Elliott Hulse. Try this one out. And try that one out. But you gotta leave the other one behind. You literally have to kill versions of yourself. Be born again. That's what Jesus means. Be born again. Be born again today. You don't like what you got? Be born again. Born again doesn't mean change. Born again means be fucking born again. It means come out again. Like the phoenix, you know, it burns. The phoenix doesn't just change costumes, change feathers. The phoenix literally burns and comes out again. You have to be reborn. It's not easy. The world is going to fight you, but it's the only way to actually get new results.